Good evening everyone and welcome to Tracey's Cakes. My name's Tracey Mann from Tracey Mann Cakes, and this evening I'm going to be doing a demonstration on how to make a golf cake. So I am actually streaming hopefully on Facebook and on YouTube, so if you are watching it on either, then you are very welcome to go across to both and see how we're getting on. Now I am here on my own this evening. I don't have the lovely Kelly with me. Kelly is currently on holiday in Spain, so I expect she'll make some comments in a minute because she's currently sat in a restaurant enjoying her dinner. But I am here live this evening. I've got Nikki on comments helping me tonight as well. So if you do have any questions during the live, you're very welcome to ask away, and I'll do everything I can to answer. Good evening, Donna. I've spotted Donna coming up there on the screen. So good evening, everyone. So I'm going to have a go at doing a golf cake this evening. It isn't what I planned with Kelly, so she's going to be sitting there going, we didn't agree on this, but we're not doing that. We're doing that next week, Kelly. So we're doing a golf cake this week. On my Let's Shop Cake live channel, which is what I do on Saturday mornings, I've been showing them this really lovely golf mould, and I want to actually get on and use it. So as we have got things like Father's Day approaching, and obviously lots of male birthdays, female birthdays, my mother-in-law is a very good golfer, then this golf cake is going to be quite relevant for that. So hopefully it will be of interest to you all. There's a bit of cake painting, a bit of covering, all sorts of bits and pieces. You know me, I like to do a bit of everything. I can see Nikki's just logged in, so that's good news for me. So good evening, Nikki, thank you for your help. And we will get going in a second. So for those of you that don't know me, my address for my cake school is written at the bottom of the screen at the moment. We'll get rid of that in a second, and that's traceymanncakeschool.co.uk, and we have a new cake class coming out tomorrow. There it is. So tomorrow we have got this class coming out, which is a Galaxy airbrush tutorial. So if you are interested in joining my cake school, then there is the address that's up on the screen now. You can either go and purchase the class on its own, or you are very welcome to join as a monthly member. So we have monthly members. This is for gold or Sugarcraft membership, so you're very welcome to join on either of those to have a go at doing the Galaxy airbrushing course. So that's coming out tomorrow. The gold members have already got it, so if you are one of my gold members for my school, you already have your Galaxy class available now, so you can go and log in and have a little look and see what's going on there. So let's take that down now so we can see. There we go. So we're going to be doing a golf cake tonight for no other reason other than the fact I found a really nice mould and I wanted to use it. So that that narrows it down a bit, doesn't it? Right, okay, let's have a look at the cake we're going to do tonight. So there it is. This cake is 5 inches by 4.5 inches in height approximately. I've already ganached it, so I've already stacked it and ganached it, ready for covering. So that's where we've got to at the moment. We're going to be able to get that covered shortly. We're also going to be using a mould, a golf bag mould, which is a really lovely mould. It's a 3D mould. I'm very happy with this mould. And lots of you have seen it already. For those of you that watch my Saturday morning programme, Let's Shop Cake Live, you will have seen it on there. And I've actually done a little video today as well, so you'll be able to watch it being made, and then you'll be able to watch it being put together. I'm hoping I've put enough chocolate on it to hold it together, otherwise I'll be gluing it together with royal icing. And then we're going to paint it, we're going to add it to the cake, and we're just going to do a little kind of golf sort of theme thing going on with this cake here, so something along those lines, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Nikki is busy putting links up for me, so if you have seen a product that I'm using this evening and you're interested in it, just say, Nikki will put the link up for you and you'll be able to go across to our website and have a look at it there. So we do have a mail order site. We have also a massive school, so a massive cake school, which I've explained about already with the Galaxy cake. So there's an awful lot going on all the time. As we're on YouTube, I'm going to have to just show you my crown cake. So we also have an imperial crown tutorial coming up now for Jubilee, which is actually not that far away, and that is part of my cake school as well. This is the crown being put together here. Again, it is an online class, and if you are interested, then just pop over to the cake school and have a look at that. So for all the classes, that's the cake school address. For all the products, It's that address there, but Nikki will put up any links that you need as we go through. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, if you just go to Tracey's Cakes and go into Cake Supplies or the Tracey Mann Cake School, you'll be able to find everything that you need in there. We'll point you in one direction or the other. Don't worry, we'll find you. Right, okay, so we're going to get started. We're going to get this cake covered first before we tackle the golf bag. So let's go down onto the cake, have a look at this. So the first thing we're going to do, so this has already been ganached. So I'm going to take hold of a large paintbrush. Oh, there we go. Put it in one of my extra special places that I can't find. So large paintbrush, and we're just going to put some water over the ganache so that we've got something for it to stick to. So we're going to do that now. Now I'm going to try and do this all in one. I did stick this down earlier today, so hopefully it's not going to move. But we're going to try and do the board and the cake in one go. I normally manage it, but you never know. That's why I say try. It's not a definite guarantee, you see. Oh dear. So again, if you have any questions whilst we're on live, then do please let me know. If you've missed the live and you're watching it back, then and you've got a question later on, then just drop us a message and we'll try and answer it for you as best we possibly can. So we've got to make sure we've covered this with water, because if we don't, then the sugar paste has got nothing to stick to. So we'll just now go over the board as well. So that's wet, so it's got something to stick to as well. So any water that comes off the cake can just go onto the board like so. There we go, job done. Right, okay, where's my sugar paste? Again, I'll put it in one of my specially organised places. All right. I'll spend most of the demonstration trying to find things, and because I haven't got Kelly sat next to me, I normally go, Kelly, have you seen this? But she's not here. So her name might appear at some point. I am watching. If I suddenly spot her, I will let you know. So we're going to colour this green. So we're going to do a green cake. We're not going to make it too strong. We're going to use Colour Splash Leaf Green, which is a very nice colour. Again, that's on the website as well. There we go. I'll go on to here. And we're going to pop that in there like so. We'll take hold of this. Oh, might actually check. I didn't actually check before I went live to make sure there was any in there. There is. That's a relief. I don't want to get halfway through the demo and find there isn't. So this is Colour Splash Leaf, and we're going to give this a bit of a knead to start with. There we go. Get that going. Off we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to start kneading this through, and then we're going to get to a point where we're going to stop, hopefully, so it's not completely kneaded through. We'll see how we're going. I'm using Massaccino paste tonight, which is Mona Lisa paste, if anyone's heard of that. That's what I'm using, which I find quite good for doing cakes with kind of sharp edges, which this one has. So as I knead it through, you can start seeing it's going a bit sort of mottled. Okay, keep going. Let's put you on the other camera for a second. There we go, it's more interesting up there. Right. There we go. How are we doing? Not too bad. Don't want it to be too dark, but I don't particularly want it to be too flat either, although we have ways of getting around that. So we'll go with that at the moment as is. I know it's not completely mixed through, but that's fine. I'm going to put some icing sugar down, even though my board is non-stick. I prefer to have some icing sugar down. It just makes my life a little bit easier. Right. So I've got some more icing stuck to my rolling pin. That's not going to help me. And let's start rolling. So we're going to go for a circle. So we're going to put a nice big streak in there. Let's give it a bit more of a knead. I want it to be mottled rather than have a massive streak in it. Thank you very much. We don't want that. That's annoying. Right. Okay. No, we've still got a big streak in it. It's obviously going to be like that today. And we'll keep going. Right, what have we got? There we go, that's fine. We can add our colours in with other bits I've got planned for this anyway. So let's give this a knead now. Let's start again. So we're going to go for a circle. So round, quarter turn it, roll again, quarter turn it, Roll again. Keep going. My turntable is making a noise next to me. It's driving me crazy. Let me move that over there a bit. There we go. Right. So no Kelly in this evening. Kelly is on holiday. You might see her appear on the screen at some point, but she is away in the sunshine. So it's just me tonight. So Nikki's in charge of comments tonight. She's helping me out. So if anybody wants to ask any questions tonight and I miss it, I will keep looking at the screen, but I'm also rolling out sugar paste at the same time. So multitasking here. Okay. Get a full workout in the evening, you know. I've got to pull my sleeves up a bit. How much sugar paste? 800, maybe a little bit less, 800 grams. Maybe a bit less. It's not a big cake, it's only a 5x4. I'm doing the board as well. I've probably got 600 here maybe. So anything between 600 and 800. Just depends on how thick you roll it out, I guess. And whether you want to choose to do the board or not. You see, I always choose to do the board. Always. Because I think it just looks so much better having the board done than not. So I'm going to guess it's something like that, if that helps. Right. Okay. Because this is a pale green colour, I don't bother to buy it pre-dyed pale green. I just dye that myself. If it's a strong colour, like red or black or something like that, then I'd probably buy it pre-done. It's a hell of a lot easier than it is trying to get a colour like that. Strong colour. We just go for this one. This is a nice green. I really like this colour. I think it's got lots of, I've done lots and lots of different things with this. I'm going to put a bit more ice and sugar down just so it's still moving. I like it to move. There we go. That's better. Right. Now we're making progress. Nearly there. She spoke too soon. Right, okay, let's see where we are. I want to try and do this board in one go, so I'm probably rolling it out as a bit more than I need to make sure. Looks like a big bit of sugar paste now, doesn't it? There we go. Right, one more go the other way and then we'll call it quits, I think, and we'll go for it. If it doesn't go over the first time, it doesn't matter. We can always do the board separately. It's not the end of the world. It just helps a little bit. I know. Just to properly work out this. Okay, so we're going to get our smoother or smedger, as I have here, and we're going to go round and round and round. Unbelievably, at the moment, I don't seem to have any air bubbles, but whether all that'll last, I don't know. Probably. Maybe not when it's gone on the cake, but we'll see. There we go. Right, where is the cake? There it is. Right, so we're going to get hold of our rolling pin. Bring that in towards us. Let's get rid of that. And then we're going to lift that like so. Go down the back there. Right, all being well, that like magic should work. Let's see what we get. Let me grab a seat. Maybe a bit further over. I'm going to go a little bit further over. There we go. Right, let's start with the top. Let's get that flattened down so we get no air bubbles in there. We don't want any air bubbles. They are a pain. And then we're just going to very carefully work our way down the back and side of this cake. It's a little bit short on this side. I might get away with it. We'll see how we go. So very carefully, just using the ball of your hand rather than anything else, just come down the cake. Because this is quite a strong sugar paste, it's actually quite good for, so I've got an air bubble now, it's quite good for me pushing my sugar paste around. Just going to get hold of my acupuncture needles that Donna very nicely sent me, and we'll get rid of that. There we go. That will come back and haunt me otherwise if I don't get rid of it. Right, down we go. We'll keep pleating the sugar paste as we go. Just keep pushing it down like that. going. As you can see, it's going down the cakes bit by bit. It's eventually fanning out at the bottom, and then that's going to go down onto the cake board, and then I can do all of it in one go, hopefully. It always seems like a long way down with some of these tall cakes. You feel like it could take forever to get to the bottom, but just keep going, just keep taking the paste out. Right, we're getting there now. There we go. Nothing like covering a cake live, is there? Now, thank you very much everyone who's joined us this evening. We'd normally do the first Tuesday of every month on this page, so on Tracey's Cakes. The other place you'll find me doing lives are Let's Shop Cake Live, which we do on Saturday mornings. So we have a Facebook page called Let's Shop Cake Live. So if you haven't joined it already, then do pop over while we're on and have a look at that Facebook page and join in that on Saturday mornings. We're live again this Saturday at 10 o'clock. And that's our little shopping channel. That's our cake shopping channel. And then the other place I'm live is called Make It, Bake It, Decorate It, which is a learning hub that's run by Sugar and Crumbs, and I'm live on there 1 or 2 times a month, so you'll find me on there as well. I say 1 or 2 because it's coming up to the summer months, which means weddings, which means I've got to cut back on my lives a tiny bit, so my online cake school people will still be there. Right, so we're now going to use this smedger, which I love. Now, if you watch very carefully, if you see what's happening, that piece there is smoothing the side of the cake, and this piece here is smoothing the board, and it's pushing it all back in towards the cake. So we're getting 2 jobs done at once. So when it comes round, you'll see what I mean. You'll see that it's all been pushed in against the cake. Can you see that straight line there? Okay, so that's what this is called. This is a smedger edger, it's called, and it does the job for you in one. So you are literally going round like so, and then you've got the board and the cake done at exactly the same time. So this is magic, this. It's very time saving as well for anybody who is doing cakes commercially. It's very, very quick. You're also saving money because you're not putting any sugar paste under your cake. So if you wanted to cover your board and say you were putting the sugar paste over it in one go, you're not doing that either. So that's nice. All in one go. The paste I'm using is Massaccino or Mona Lisa, which is the paste I use for the tall cakes because it's the most reliable one for doing tall cakes. I am hoping to get some of Sugar and Crumbs' sugar paste so I can try that out and let you know how I get on with that one. But I like this one. It is a little bit more expensive than some of the other ones, but it's very reliable. When you're doing a live, you want reliability. There we go. Right. Okay, so that's that one all the way around. Now we have another gadget somewhere. We have one of these. I love this. This is called a sharp top edger, and this brings this edge in here a little bit sharper. So you just pop it on like that, and then you just go backwards and forwards like this, and you'll see the edge getting sharper, and that's because it's pushing the sugar paste back towards the ganache that's underneath. So it's a really handy little gadget for achieving, or certainly getting closer to these sharp top edges. And I've got a little air bubble appeared there, so let's deal with that before we go too much further because I can see it and I will not want that later. I said too soon about air bubbles, didn't I? I've had loads since. So backwards and forwards, just take it steady with this tool. It's very easy to just overwork it and then you've torn through your paste. This is why some of the stronger pastes are better, because it gives you a bit more opportunity to make a few more mistakes, because it's a bit more, it will tolerate a bit more than most of the others. So around we go. We're nearly there. Yep, nearly there. And then once we've done that, and have another little look at it. So when we've done that, it does tend to create a little bit of a ridge. So what, I've got to get rid of that air bubble again, another one. But what I then do is go back round with my smedger and just sharpen it back up again. And then it's all back to where we should be. There we go, that's better. Happy days. There you go. Not too bad, I reckon that's passable. Right, I need my plastic side scraper. I'm now running across the other side of the room because I've got to pick it up off the sink. Obviously I was being uber tidy and completely forgot. Right, okay, let's do this. So we're going to cut round the edge of this now. I'm going to try and do this so it's on camera. So I'm just going to literally run this round the outside edge. I normally do it like a pie, but I'll do it whilst on turntable today because it's ever so difficult to do on a live when you pick it up, because I end up sort of trying to juggle to show you what I'm doing at the same time, so it's hard. Right, let's take this out of the way. I'm going to use a little bit of this later on, and actually I find green sugar paste is a well, certainly for my cake painters who are on my cake school, we're always covering our cakes with lots of pastel colours, so I don't tend to find any of that kind of paste colour goes to waste. It's all quite usable again. Just going to cut down here a little bit further, just where it's pulled a bit. There we go. How about that? Not bad, eh? There we go. Right, so we've done that. Let me just move everything out of the way. If you've got any sugar paste on the go, just cover it, because otherwise it dries out. And this is too expensive to dry out, so I'm definitely going to put this away. So that's that. Let's move those out of the way as well. We don't need those anymore. Right, let's have a little look at the golf things. So we're doing a golf theme cake tonight. Oh, I could run the video, couldn't I, while I get organised? That would be good. I'm very organised these days. So what we're going to do now, she says, this is where my children always go, Mum, will you please stop looking over your glasses like that? But I have various screens on here, you see, that I need to be able to play for you. So I'm now going to show you a video on how to make the golf club bag and the golf clubs themselves, and then what they do when they come out of it as well, so you'll be able to see how it works, okay? Okay, I'm going to show you now how to use the golf mould. So I've got some chocolate which I have just melted, so it's been in the microwave, 10 seconds stir, 10 seconds stir until it's fully melted. I've got the consistency of double cream, and then I'm taking a large paintbrush and I'm just painting in the detail on the bag to make sure that I don't have any air bubbles in there to mess it all up. So I'm just going to do this mainly on the bag. You can turn it over and have a look and see how you're getting on. So if you spot anything that's not quite right, you can just put a little bit more chocolate in there, and that covers that all for you. I'm not going to do the bits there, and with this one here I'm going to really force the chocolate down that gap. So I'm going to actually put my chocolate now into a piping bag. So I'm using white Calabao chocolate. Make sure we get it all out. Okay, just pop that into the bag, that up like so, take that out of the way, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to snip the end off, and then I'm going to do this part first because I need the piping bag to go right down to the bottom there to make sure it fills that gap, and then you come right to the top and across. As soon as you've done that, just give it a little tap. If you've got too much in there, I'm just going to take hold of this and run our plastic side scraper straight across the whole thing. Do that again, like so. And then we'll go to this part here. So, again, just give that a tap, that just gets the air bubbles out. Okay, and then we're going to do these here. Now these are like lollies, so we're going to do all three. Just about got enough to do it. There we go. And then I've got some lollipop sticks that I've cut down a little bit, and I'm just going to pop those in there like that. I'm just going to twist them just to make sure the chocolate sticks to them. And then these will become our golf clubs when they're dry, like so. Okay, we're going to go and pop that into the fridge now for about 20 minutes. Okay, so the mould's been in the fridge for 20 minutes, so we're going to take it out now. So we've got the golf clubs, which we'll take out first, like so. This part's the most difficult part to get out, so I'll leave that bit till the end. That's the front part. Then I'm going to tip this part here. Oh, there we go, we're out. Okay, so this basically makes a 3D bag. So I've melted some chocolate. It is quite thick. I've done that deliberately. And I'm just going to place some around the edge here, like so. You can melt and put this together if you want to, but a bit of melted chocolate would work just as well. I'm going to take this part, make sure you get it the right way round. Pop that on as quick as you can. I'm just going to wipe my finger down there, get rid of any excess chocolate. Make sure it's in the right place. And then you've got yourself a 3D bag, which you can then pop your golf clubs in. This could not be better, like so. So it's very cool. However, we do need now to paint it. So that's the next thing we're going to do. Cool, isn't it? How easy is that? How many times have you been asked to make a golf cake and you have to make a golf bag and you think, oh God, no, it's going to take me forever. This is completely chocolate. It's all edible. How lovely. Now, I should know, because my husband plays golf, what golf bags look like, but actually I don't. I haven't paid any attention to them whatsoever, so I had to go onto Google this afternoon, have a little look at golf bags to see what colours they are, because I should know, as I say, but I don't. And I found various pictures on here, so we're going to kind of take some inspiration from the pictures that I found, and we're going to now paint this golf bag. So what we're going to do, I've made it in white. Lots of the golf bags were sort of darker greys and blacks, those kinds of things. So if you wanted to do more those shades, you could make this in, say, milk chocolate and start at a darker base, or even dark chocolate and start at a darker base and go back from there. But I'm going to do kind of blue with maybe a red stripe, and I'm making it up as I go along, so that's going to be fine, isn't it? It will be I have pictures, I have interesting pictures to look at, so we will work it out from there, but I'm going to put that on now so you can see. Now, if we're painting chocolate, you are going to need to use cocoa butter. You cannot use anything else, because cocoa butter is the only thing that sticks to chocolate. So these are some of my example golf bags. It sort of cut it off on the printer. In fact, it spent all afternoon printing just this small set of 4 images. My printer decided it was having a day. So you can see on here various different things that, say some of them, if you wanted to do one that was more like that, maybe start from a dark chocolate base rather than white. We're going to go for kind of a grey, navy, sort of red type bag. We're not going to put any of the branding on the side. We're going to leave that out. I don't think we'll get involved in branding this evening. There we go. So this is... I'm going to just show you what this is. So this is a chrome food warmer. Now, I don't sell these. They are on Amazon. You would need to put in chrome food warmer and you will find them on there. And all they are is a rack. It's not meant to be for this, but we use it for this, with a tea light underneath. And then on here we have a metal paint palette. Now this metal paint palette is getting very, very hot, and in the process it's melting the cocoa butter, which is here, and it comes in like a little sort of button form. I'll show you what it looks like. It basically looks like that. So if I pop that in there, the metal paint palette will get hot, and then that in turn will start melting. And then what we're going to do is we're going to be using dusting colours to do our painting. So we're using, we're going to use Sunflower Sugar Art, which is this one here. We're going to use some of these colours here. So we've got spring green, we've got petal blue, we've got red, we've got all sorts of bits and pieces on there. So, and white as well. And I've got the most enormous tub of white ever, so I'm just going to sort that out now. So what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to put a little bit of white in there. Now I'm going to put the white opposite the black, so I don't particularly want that on there. And then we're going to put some red here as well. So we'll have a bit of red. So we'll aim for, and we're going to do blue. So I've got this one here, which is called Colour Splash Bright Blue. That one is on our website as well. This is a really lovely blue colour, so we'll pop that on there. So we're going blue. Oh, we're going Jubilee colours, aren't we? Without even realising, I'm going Jubilee colours. Right, okay, so when I teach my classes, we have paintbrushes with numbers on them. The numbers there, we have got, have we got a full set? No, we're missing number 2. So we've got 0, 1, 3 and 2 and 00 at the moment here with me. We've got paintbrush number 2 somewhere. I'll find that in a second. And these are what I use to teach my classes. So if you're struggling, what I normally say to you is we're now going to use paintbrush number 1, we're now going to use paintbrush number 3, and that helps people to know exactly which paintbrush it is that we are currently using. So that makes life a lot easier. We also have this one here, which is a flat 2, which is another brush that we use on our courses, and we're going to use that to cover some of the bigger areas on the cake. Now this one here, if I turn this over, we're not actually going to see that part on the cake, so I would think that's probably not worth painting, but I may just run a little bit of the colour down the side there because I'm going to have it standing against the cake like that. The chances are you will be able to see down the side of there, so I am just going to run a little bit of colour over there as well. Now I'm just going to remove the colour that I've had in here, which is obviously a spring green colour by the looks, so I'm just dipping it into the cocoa butter and just wiping it on there. I know I'm obsessed with Jubilee at the moment. For anyone who watches Let's Shop on Saturday, all my Jubilee stuff is out. There's more to come because I love it so much. So we've currently got 4 sets of Cupcake Toppers. So we've got Union Jacks, we've got Platinum Jubilee, we've got Crowns, and then we've got a big topper for Jubilee cake if you're doing a massive cake. And we're also going to be doing, well, I hope it's going to come this week anyway, we're going to have Jubilee Crown, Imperial Crown cookie cutters coming, and I'm waiting for those. They should be here any day. I'm waiting for them from the same place that I'm waiting for the sunflower cookie cutters, and for those of you who know all about those, we know what I'm talking about. So I have been waiting forever for these to turn up, so I'm sure they will turn up eventually. Right, okay, so we've got a strap here, we've got kind of a separate area here. I'm just kind of assessing here what I'm going to be doing. There's some sort of stitching down there, so I think we'll just kind of use the natural divides that are on here and follow it like that. So what we'll do is we'll make a nice, let's make a grey colour to start with. So we're using our larger brush because we've got quite a big area to do, and we'll add some white to that. So we can make it, it doesn't have to be too dark grey, but if you have, obviously if you know someone who plays golf, maybe you could copy their bag. I say I didn't take a blind bit of notice of my husband's golf bag as I left today. That's so bad. I should have looked. Oh dear, I just ran out the door. Didn't think really. Anyway, golf bags, not really my thing, but as I do actually have one at home, I should have looked at it really, but there we go. So we'll do kind of a light grey colour, I think, to start with, to give ourselves a bit of a base. Now, the thing is with chocolate, it's easier. Now, if you've got gloves, that's great, but not everyone's got gloves. So I'm going to just pop it on a piece of kitchen roll like so. So it's going to be on its side at the minute. And what I'll do is I'm just going to paint down this side here. And I'm just going to do that small back portion that I just said about, where you can actually see it. Let's put a bit more cocoa butter in there because we're a bit short. Like so. There we go. I'm just going to run that down the back there. It's just because in case you can see it when it's standing up against the cake more than anything else. Okay, so see what I mean? So I've literally just done that. Right, I'm now putting that down there. Yeah, if anybody's interested in all the Jubilee stuff, I've got a huge selection online. I've gone a bit mad actually, to be honest, because I love Jubilee in a big way. So I've got absolutely everything going on there. So if you're looking for those online, they're all in new products mainly. So let's have a look at this bag because we want to make this quite colourful. We don't want it to be sort of all the same too much. So I'm going to just sort of take that portion maybe as the grey colour. And then I think what we'll do is we'll perhaps do the same. And that's going across there, isn't it? Like that. So what we'll do is we'll take that portion there. So I'm going to use my brush in again there. And we'll just come down there. Maybe I'll get into golf bag design, you see. Maybe that's where I'm heading in life. Oh dear. All right, let's tip that way. There we go. And we'll paint down there as well. See, the coverage is brilliant. and it dries really quickly. It's literally 1 to 2 minutes and it's dry. So if I touch that side, it's dry. Now if I did that with, say, gels, it would just instantly fall off. So cocoa butter is the answer to paint a chocolate item. And just remember with this, it's totally edible. So it's not like a great big lump of sugar paste. It is completely edible. So that's nice. I'm just going to do that bit there. You can also build up layers. So let's just say layer 1 isn't particularly strong. You can always go back and you can do a second or third layer. Now I'm just going to change brushes here. I'm going to go down to a slightly smaller brush because, where's that brush 2 gone? What's that one? No. I'm determined to find brush 2. No, that's brush 3. I think it's hiding from me. That's also brush 3. Clearly I've gone through a phase of losing brush 3 recently. So I've got a few. What's that one? Brush 1. Okay. All right. Someone's telling me don't use brush 2 this evening. All right. Well, I'll use brush 3 then. We'll find it eventually. It's the one I use the most. That's probably why it's gone missing. So what we'll do is just paint down this side. Put a little bit more in there. Like this. So it's got some stitching on it as well, but we can always paint over that later on. We can pick that up and enhance that later. Yeah, if you look at these bags, they've definitely I mean, they're not the most exciting of bags, but they are usually more than one colour from what I've seen. So that's what we're going to do. It's not as bad as like golf trousers. I was delivering a wedding cake once at this venue. Honestly, I nearly put my car into a bush. I was laughing at somebody's trousers. I haven't seen anything like it. It was hilarious. I think he must have been on a joke, you know, because they were absolutely hideous, these trousers. But they were proper golf trousers. Made me laugh anyway. There we go. All right, so we've done that. Let's change colour. Let's go blue or red, I think. Let's go and see what we've got. And we could put some of this other trim in these different colours, you see then. I am looking at my screen and I'm recognising quite a few names this evening of my online students, but not only my online students, but also some students that used to come in here. So I have spotted Tracy and I've spotted Karen. I've seen Amy as well. So lovely to see you all online. Right, let's carry on with this. Let's now go for, what should we do? Blue, I said, didn't I? Okay. So this is called Bright Blue. It is a colour splash one. It is on the website. I'll add a bit of white to it though, so it's not too dark. There we go. Right, that's what we're going to do with this. I'll tell you what we'll do with this. We'll put this down the bottom here. Across there. Like so. So we'll just paint that like that. I'm going to say we'll just take it slightly under, just in case it shows up a little bit. You see, that's a really nice blue colour. I like a lot. Very nice. And then we'll just go down here a bit. This is where I may regret my choice of brush. Let me get rid of this brush. Let's switch over to brush 1. Where are we? That's 3 again. These number 3 brushes are haunting me this evening. Right, what's that? There we go. That's a brush 1. Right, put a bit more white in there. Now, because this is my main kind of bit of this cake, I want this to look really super smart and nice. So if you're doing this for a cake for somebody, do it in advance. Don't do it at the same time that you're icing the cake like I'm doing it, because that's obviously mad. It's much easier to kind of do it in your own time. And then you can get all your toppers made in advance, which is so much easier than trying to do everything on the same day. And then you can enjoy it a bit more than trying to do it all in a mad rush. But say this is the main kind of bit of the cake. This is the bit everybody's going to be looking at. So we need to make sure we've done this right. So I've gone down brush size to brush 1 because I need to get round some of these bits at the bottom here. Make sure I can pick up all my detail. Now don't forget the bag's going to be standing. So when I stand it like that, just going to grab hold of it with some kitchen roll here. You can see it. So I need to make sure I paint it across here because I don't want to have to see white chocolate particularly. So I'm going to have to go back and just go around with the grey as well. So we just go around there like so. There we go. So we are streaming tonight on YouTube as well. So if you want to watch on YouTube, you can. If you have joined us late, you can watch this back on Facebook or YouTube once this is completed. You'll be able to go back to the beginning and watch it again. So if you have joined us late, don't worry, you won't miss anything. You can just go back and watch it at the end. Well, I'm just going to take the blue out of here because I'm going to just go around the edge with the grey. There's a lot of blue in there. It doesn't matter. I'm going to have to put some more cocoa butter in there in a second because I'm busy using it all. Cocoa butter is very cheap. It's not a particularly expensive product and it goes a long, long way. So if you're ever worried about the cost of anything, you know, if you're trying to keep your costs down, cocoa butter is very cheap. And the dusting colours that go with it, that's not too bad either. So it's a nice low cost hobby, this one, painting. Maybe not so much the chocolate, but certainly painting is. And I teach lots and lots of people how to paint on cakes on my teaching school. So if you ever fancy having a go at doing something completely different, and I say I prefer to have the students that don't do any painting at all, you know, the ones that have never done it before, yes please. And the ones that can't do it and then realise they can, I like those ones as well. There we go. All right, then that looks better like that. Now I could paint inside, but to be honest with you, I'm not going to get that concerned about it. I think that's just getting a bit silly and ridiculous. So I'm just going to put that down like so and just leave it at that. Now, if you make any mistakes as you go along, you can always use something like a scriber just to kind of get rid of it. So if you are thinking that is an absolute pain, then you have got a scriber and you can literally just scratch off any colour that's in the wrong place. Right, okay, so we've done that bit. Right, let's now, what should we do next? We will do that bit there, I think. Now that bit I want to do red, but I'm contemplating maybe going back to grey with this one and doing features. So I'm going to just do this bit grey and then I'm going to put the bit that goes across it a different colour. Now you don't have to be too precise with cocoa butter as well. I can just paint straight over things and then go back and paint over it again, which is really nice because cocoa butter paints in layers, which means that you just need to let them dry in between and then you can sort it out that way. So we're just going to come down the side of the bag here, round the corner. There we go, like so. So if you don't get a good coverage the first time, you can always have another go when it's dry, and it literally takes 1 to 2 minutes to dry. It's very, very quick, so you don't have to worry about waiting and holding out. Okay, so round we go. There we go. And then what we'll do next, I keep forgetting I'm going to be looking at it like this. You see, every time I stand it up, I then spot where I've missed, so I'm going to have to keep standing it up, I'm afraid. Right, let's put it back down again. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't actually fall apart because my gluing together was a bit ropey this afternoon, so it may well at some point. My royal icing is on standby. Right, okay, happy days, I think. Happy with that. So now we're going to put, I think we'll put that as red because, as I say, these golf bags, they do have a lot of different stripes on them. Right, we have got more cocoa butter here. There we go. Be careful if you're buying cocoa butter from a supermarket that you're not buying coconut oil instead, because lots of people have fallen into that trap. So coconut oil is not the same as cocoa butter itself. So cocoa butter paints differently to coconut oil, because I've been asked loads of times about it and somebody did an experiment for me in the end and found it was to be completely different. So we do all the painting on here in my classes on cakes, everything is done in cocoa butter. There's just 1 or 2 exceptions, but the majority is done in cocoa butter. We do have a beginner's cocoa butter cake painting kit as well. So if you are interested in having a go at doing cake paintings or painting on chocolates, all the same, then we have got a little kit that's available to start you off, which includes the paintbrushes and some dusts and the metal paint palette. Doesn't include this chrome food warmer. You have to kind of go to Amazon to get that. Right, let's mix that in. Just put a tiny bit of white in there just so it's not so harsh. A little bit of extra cocoa butter there. I'm reading your lovely comments, Maureen, thank you. Right, so now we're going to go round here. And we'll put some red in here. So this will all come to life when we put all the stitching and all those kind of lovely details in. I mean, it's already looking pretty smart, but we're going to be there and go up that side there. So cocoa butter's like a bit like, you know, when you do baking, you've got to have your baking powder or your bicarbonate of soda. It's one of those kind of products that you just have in the cupboard, and then if you do anything like this, you've got it. It's got a massive shelf life on it, so you won't have any problems with it going out of date. And you only need 1 bag. Don't order more than 1 because it will take you forever to get through one. Now, I paint all day, every day, and it takes me ages to go through 1 bag. And we paint all the time, so you won't need more than 1. There we go. It's also very addictive. That's the only other thing I'll say. But you know what? We're all living very, very stressful lives at the moment. And I don't think it's so bad to have a hobby that's actually involves doing a bit of quiet painting, because you can get very involved in this very quickly. You can make some lovely things to go on top of cakes just by doing a little bit of painting. Right, let's go round up here. There's like a little, I don't know what that is, a little hook of some description. I'm going to be cautious with this and just paint around there like that, because I think it's obviously something for, oh, I know what it's for. It's hanging your towel on, I think, from what I remember. I do know a bit about golf. I probably know more than I'm letting on. I know the joy of 4 hours of my husband on the golf course. That's the sort of joy I know about golf. Right, let's go across here. So let's match this. Let's make this red as well. So we've got some coordination going on here. So we'll do that there. Let's turn that round. Let's do it that side. There we go. See, this is where temptation comes for you to go, oh, I'll use an edible pen and just do the stitching. Unfortunately, you can't do that because it will just fall off. You do need to use cocoa butter still. You're just going to have to persist with it. Just make this a little bit darker. There we go. How are we doing? You've got a fishing husband, have you? Caroline's got a fishing husband. That sounds like good news too. Right, okay, so we've done that bit. Now, we've got a strap here. I think we're going to do that black, from what I remember. I think I've got to just missed a bit of blue down there. Let me just fill that bit in there. Again, it's one of these things, I'm going to stand this up and then go, no, I've missed that bit. Right, I'm juggling brushes here. We'll stick with brush 1. So we'll just let these bits here dry while we just carry on. And we'll go for the black. Now sometimes it's better to add a tiny bit of white just to tone it down a bit so it's not too black, because black can be quite harsh. It depends what you're doing. If you're doing like cartoon characters, then yeah, you want it really dark, but if you're not, then really, really dark can sometimes be a bit detrimental, but we'll see how we go. We can always darken it up. There we go. Right, what are we doing here? Let's have a look. So we'll turn this around. Am I still on screen? Probably just. Let's lift that up a little bit there. So let's put this in here. So if you're watching on YouTube tonight, this is the first time we've done a live stream on YouTube. There are many YouTube videos on here, as you've seen, and they're all like this, to be perfectly honest, but I've never actually worked out how to do it at the same time as being live, so I've managed it this evening, which is a bit of a miracle, as my technical skills are not that good. They're good enough, just about. So yeah, happy days. Let's turn that round a bit. Go up here. So yeah, as the colours get darker, it's probably easier to use a smaller brush so you've got more control over it, because what you don't want to do is end up making too many mistakes with this. How's that looking? Not too bad. Carol, you have joined my cake school recently and you're very welcome. I hope you enjoy it. For the students that are in the gold membership level of my cake school, lots of them had started doing the Jubilee cake and they're doing the full thing, which is amazing, because I didn't think they would do all 3 tiers, but it looks like a few of them are, so that's lovely. They've started already. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, have a nose at the cake school website, Tracey Mann Cake School, and you'll see what I mean, because it's the opening picture at the moment. Well, it was last time I looked. Not necessarily. Right, okay, let's now have a look at some of the stitching. So let's start working on that. So all I'm going to do is still using this sort of dark grey black colour. Now I can actually see where this stitching is, so there is little marks. So I'm just going to use, what brush have I got here? Paintbrush 1, just going to use the tip of it. If this is too big for you, if you don't like the feel of this, you can always go to a different size, like a 0, and just use that instead. Actually, these stitches are a little bit out. They're not 100% where they should be. That's all right. We can make it up. And then we have got another row of stitching there by the looks. So again, we'll pop that in there. So at the moment, I'm just marking on what they've put on here. And then we can always add our own, can't we? Or we can make our own judgment on this. So we'll just go up to that point there. I've got to paint these yet as well, I mustn't forget those. I'm just going to come down the side of here. Paint that up a bit while it's drying. And then we've got some stitching going around here. So let's do that. So it's all these little details that suddenly then start transforming the bag and making it look really nice and tidy. There we go. I'm laughing at the students' comments about the Jubilee cake. I've got this huge Jubilee tutorial and I set them a challenge, you see. This is it. They're all at it now. So this is like painting by numbers. So if you are thinking, oh no, paintbrush, that's not for me. Once you've started something like this, I did another video last week called Beginner's Cocoa Butter Painting. So if you watch that back, that might show you how to do something else that might inspire you to have a go, which was painting patchwork cutters. And if you don't know what patchwork cutter is, I can point you in the direction of what that is and you'll soon be addicted to that. So patchwork cutters are really lovely cutters that you can use to emboss into your cake. And then that will help you to be able to basically practice your painting. It's as simple as that. So I'm just mixing black, white and a tiny bit of blue. And then what we'll do is we'll just paint this bit up here. This buckle bit, whatever that is. The technical golf term. There we go. I don't really know what that is, but some sort of clip. Maybe for the towel. I have to say, I played golf once with my husband. I was so bad that he never let me play again. That was 30 years ago. That's nice, isn't it? Oh dear. Right, let's go back to the other colour. Go back to the black. I want to do some more stitching. Well, I say black, it's not, is it? It's like a dark grey colour. Right, so we've got more stitching up here, so let's put that in. Again, this is marked out on this particular mould. So the moulds on my website, there is also another one called golf balls, so be very careful you don't pick up the right one. I'm going to show you that one later on anyway, just in case there's any sort of doubt what it looks like, just to make sure you are clear on that. The mail order is running relatively quick at the moment, unless you've ordered a sunflower cutter, and then that's a whole new ball game at the moment. We're having some waiting for the sunflower cutters, which I think are coming tomorrow. Don't faint. It's only been a week, but I'm pretty certain they're coming tomorrow. So, because I teach cookies as well, we have our own set of cookies, masses of them. So we've got a cookie class coming out as well. That's going to be out shortly. That's in final stages now of recording. So there's lots going on. I'm just going to put this there into some sort of class because I don't know what it is. See, this is where I could go a bit kind of like, you know, do my own thing and do a bit of a stripe or something, you know, go a bit branded here, you know, like Nike or something. Just going to tidy up around this side, but that's not looking too bad, is it, for a golf bag? The thing is, they're not massively pretty, are they, to be perfectly honest? But what we'll do, I'm just going to make sure I've got it all covered, say, because once I stand this up, the minute I stand it up, I'll see everything that's missing and I'll have to repaint it, and that will annoy me. So let's just have a little look standing. I'm just going to hold it like that for a second. Probably can't see much for a minute, but I've just got to paint this bit over the top. And there's a bit there as well. And there's a massive bit on the top there of blue. There we go. I'll pop that down again. You can always kind of leave the colours, you know, the cocoa butter available. You don't have to suddenly get rid of it. But if I then wanted to put, say, like, I don't know, let's go a bit flash here. Let's put a white stripe on it. Why not? I'm just going to clean my brush out so it hasn't got any more blue on it. It seems to have masses of blue on it. Right, I'm just going to pick you up, fold that over for a second. I'm trying not to hold it because it's chocolate and obviously my hands are warm and I don't particularly want to melt it. So if you're going to paint in any white whatsoever, you need to make sure the colour underneath is dry, because if it isn't, then what it will do is basically pick up the colour underneath. So as I'm painting white, it will suddenly go grey or whatever other colours there. So just be a bit careful with this bit. So what should we do? Let's do something like some stripes here, shall we? So we can just take our brush. So we're just going to pretend now we're on The Apprentice and we're branding something now. Probably better than them, but anyway. I don't want to speak too soon in case it goes wrong. All right, let's just do 3 stripes. Let's not get too technical about this. Let's just try and keep it nice and straightforward. There you go. You see, that looks much better. And then just go over it again. Just make them a little bit whiter as they dry. So my paintbrush is right up on the tip of the brush, so that gives me a bit more leeway. You see, that looks better. I look up on screen at what you're seeing. It looks, yeah, you see, you get a better view than me. Whenever I look down on this, I've got a light shining at me because obviously you need to see this on a live, so I never get the best view. I always think you get the best view, which is how it should be, really. But you note the way the white paint's gone straight over the dots there now. So if I wanted to put those back in, I could, but actually I probably won't bother. I'll probably just leave it as is, but I'm just going to go over that one more time. And then we can use the white in highlights in other places. So we can use it, for example, we can just kind of run it down the side of the bag here, just a little line, a little dot there. Sometimes that works as quite a nice sort of indication that there's a bit of light, it stops it looking so flat, because sometimes they can end up looking terribly flat. I don't particularly want to start putting stripes all over the whole thing, because I think that then becomes too much. So it's much easier to just add highlights then in places. So we'll come down here, for example, and we'll just put a little bit of white in there, just broken line like that. See, it doesn't have to be too much, it just has to be enough. But if you wanted to do something branded, you could put a tick in there if you wanted to, but that's entirely up to you. I'm not going to get too involved in all of that. Right, I'm just going to get another brush for a second, get this blue, and then I think what we'll do is we'll just paint inside of there. Now I've just gone down to 0 here, 0 brush, just so I can get inside that gap, because I think that would be see-through. I'm just trying to think of the logic of this as I'm doing it. That makes more sense. And then I've got a tiny bit of grey I need to just do around that other side that I can see. Just tuck that bit in there. There we go. Even sometimes basic stuff like just a bit of outlining. So if you suddenly got really brave, if you've suddenly got really brave and you're on a live and you think, oh, this is a good idea, and then think, no, it's not. Why did I do that? You can just take a brush and go along the edge here. So I'm just holding this like that. I'm going to turn it round. We're making a bit of a fuss of this bag because it's the main part of our cake, so we want it to be super duper. So when we stand it next to our cake, we're really pleased with it. Okay, see what I mean? You can just do simple line across the bottom there. How are we doing? There we go. That looks good. Turning it round. Right, I'm just going to go into this a little bit further so it goes down towards the bag. Make sure it's completely connected. That looks good. Now I could put a line up there. I'm going to be super brave now. Here she goes. I can't breathe, anybody. It's like royal icing. Occasionally I have to remind the students to breathe. So we're just going to take our brush and we're just going to go straight down this section here. Now there is actually a little indent, you can feel it when you're painting. So the brush is just going into that gap really. There you go. See how much better that looks. Now I don't think there is so much of a gap on this outside edge here, but we're going to do it anyway. So I might have to use a bit more guesswork here. But I like it, so we're doing it. And so you can do whatever you like with yours. You don't have to do any of this. You might choose to paint the whole thing one colour. You might decide to do different colours. I'm just trying to do one kind of, I guess, as generic as I could find. One that I looked at and went, yeah, that's pretty much what a golf bag looks like. And then round the outside edge here, I would really like to put a line here, because one of the bags that I found, this one, I'm going to show you this bag now. Can you see there? There's a line that goes around the edge there. So I would really quite like to do that on this bag. So I'm going to be super brave and do that next. I'm reading Karen's comment about breathing being overrated. And Karen, again, is one of my students and she does competitions. And she's done very, very well. And hopefully she's going to get that silver she's after. She's got her bronze and she's got her highly commended. Now we're pushing on to silver. Aren't we, Karen? So she can't breathe. She wants silver. Right, we're going around the edge here. So I think we'll just basically take this to the outside edge. You might not be able to see 100% all of this because I'm having to do this on the side. I'll try and tip it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to turn it around again. And I think all of this little extra bits, I know they might seem a bit of a nuisance, but do you know what? They make so much difference. I'm sure you're probably looking at this and thinking, yeah. There we go. And then we need to go back to the top here. and do the top bit of the blue there. It would not look like a toddler's done it. I'm laughing at your comments now. You need to be brave. But isn't this cool? Think about it for a minute. You've made this, you're probably going to make this in under 20 minutes. I've said before about things like shoes, because I have a shoe video, a chocolate shoe video. It's so much quicker than making them with sugar paste, hugely quicker. And you can eat them. I just think it's so much better than using sugar paste for this kind of thing. Right, now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to very bravely just go underneath this here because I want to tidy this up a bit. So if you look at a cartoon, they always tend to have like lots of black around the outside edge of cartoon characters. And if you take that black away, it's amazing the difference it makes. And I think this is very similar. This little bit of outlining makes all the difference. So I'm going to come down here and outline that bit now. But can you see how much more that now stands out because we've taken the time to outline it? It's just down to your brushes. It's down to having just nice small brushes. And actually, you're seeing this from a distance. When I look at it, it's probably a little bit messier up close than it is that you're looking at. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Someone will love it. I guarantee it. Right, let's turn that round. So we're nearly there, and then we can move on to the golf clubs, and then we can start thinking about putting them onto the cake and watch it all come together. Okay, we're going to go back to the bit that goes across here because this needs tidying up. So I'll put this sort of strap bit in place, whatever that is. I'm sure it's some fancy golf thing that we don't know anything about. There we go. Practice, practice, practice. That's it. That's what I need to hear. You don't have to make a cake every time. You don't have to. If you're painting on a plaque, for example, that's enough. You don't need to get a cake out. You can just cover a board with some sugar paste and have a go. Or you can do something like this where you're just painting literally by numbers. So I'm just, you know, following the indentations of the chocolate. There you go. So it's not difficult particularly. Gives you a chance to practice with your paintbrush as well and getting it all sort of nicely lined up. Now I'm just going to tip it on its side. I'm going to just try and hold it with the kitchen roll. There we go. And I'm just going to run a line, she says, hopefully down here, and then I think that will be it. This is where the join was. I'm not trying to draw attention to the join, but I think it needs a line. I'm looking at it and thinking it needs a line, so a line we will give it. There we go. That joins onto that bag then, doesn't it, nicely, or that bit there, whatever that is. Go. Now I'm just going to pop that down, and then I'm just going to flip it. I'm trying not to hold it that way. There we go. And we'll come down this side. Maybe a bit more cocoa butter. It's sort of stalling a little bit. If you start finding it's not going on very well, it's probably because you haven't got enough cocoa butter on your brush, and I'm just as guilty as that as everybody else. It's just kind of working out what's wrong, I guess, isn't it, really? And I'm just thinking it out in my head here. I didn't Google what a golf club looks like, but I'm sure they're mainly silver, so we're running with mainly silver. I probably should have looked again in my husband's bag before I left, but I didn't. I was more thinking about technical things like I've got to go live. Have I done the icing sugar? This sort of thing, rather than actually thinking about what I was painting. But I think that's pretty much it. I think we're near enough there now. I'm just going to correct one little bit at the top there where the grey is. I'm just going to sort that out because it's a little bit on the ropey side, so we'll just paint that down here, blend that in a bit. just remember this is our feature bit, so it's got to be right. Okay, and I think for my own peace of mind, because I don't want to then put this on the cake and go, I should have done that, I should have done that. I'm just going to take my larger brush with the grey on it, and I'm just going to paint inside the edge of the bag, like so. So I'm just putting that in there like that. So if it's standing up, well, when it's standing up, not if, but when it's standing up, we'll only be able to see the top half of this. Right, holding. So I'm just going in there because the golf clubs will be in the way, you see, so we won't see a lot of this, but I'm just a bit concerned that we might see some white chocolate, and I really don't want that. Somebody's going to have their whole head in there if they're going to see anything else, I think. So it's just worth running a little bit of chocolate down there. Oh, not chocolate, grey cocoa butter. Right, I'm dropping it down. There we go. I think that looks okay, don't you? Let's put it on a piece of clean kitchen roll rather than my piece of kitchen roll covered in everything under the sun. There we go. Look at that. It's much better, isn't it? Okay, now let's put you over there. Leave that to dry, and then we'll bring our golf clubs in. So we've made these like lollipops, which I thought were well cool. So we're going to now paint them. So the only thing with this is that they might get mucky hands when they pick them up to eat them, because obviously they might hold on to the cocoa butter and it might end up coming off their hands. But what we'll do is I did laugh earlier because I found a silver colour and I thought, do you know what? I think Wonder Dust fine, maybe a tiny bit glittery for the golf club, so maybe not that colour. So we'll stick with grey, which will be white and black, and then we can stick a bit of blue in it as well, just to make it a bit more silvery, so it's not too grey. That's what Kelly would tell me to do. I know she would, so that's what we're going to do, like so. So what we'll do is we'll do the what are they called? Clubs. I was trying to think of the words there. Slightly different colour to the sticks. I think that might help. But what we'll do is we'll just go straight over these, because some of them are woods, aren't they, as well? So that's not helping my cause, because I don't really know which way around they look like. So we're just going to imagine that they're all irons this evening. Although I think this one might be a wood, looking at it. Maybe we'll do one brown one, just because we can. And then at least it shows I thought about it, because I know exactly what will happen when I get back. My husband will go, well, that's painted wrong. Okay. Now I'm going to leave painting the lollipop sticks till last, because I'm not going to be able to pick them up. Once I've coloured them, I've had it, I'm not going to be able to pick them up very well. Now I'm just looking for, let's see if I've got brown. I'm going to have to jump up and have a look. Let's see if I can find some brown colouring. There we go. That's not too far away, no good. You'd put some bling in there, Nikki. I think you should have some bling on these. Maybe I'll put a tiny bit of bling in. How about that? What I'll do is I'll let that dry, and then I'll bling one up. I'm going to paint these two silver and this one brown, and then at least, or it looks like I've thought about it a bit. Okay, so large brush, flat 2 for covering here because it's quicker. And paint both sides as well. It's not the most prettiest of sides, the other side, but there's a chance that you've got these golf clubs might swing around, so I would just paint both for the sake of it. And the top, don't forget the top. Okay, that's all right, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's the wood. I think this one is the wood. This one, yeah. I think these two might be the... Oh, Tracy, I should know these terms. My husband would be in the background now going, Tracy. Right, forget that. Let's do the brown. Now, it's not dark brown, I know that much. I think it's a little bit lighter than that. So what we'll do is I don't really want to mess that brush up, so I'll just use paintbrush 3. I'm going to need some more cocoa butter. I'm going through loads this evening. There we go, pop some in there. Just a little bit more.
got a few more bits to paint yet anyway, so we're having fun tonight. We're just going to be painting away. So we've got some brown here, and then we'll grab a bit of white, so we'll lighten it up a bit, so I don't really want it to be too dark. And we can always add shading, can't we, if we want to. Right, let's paint that. See how much darker that comes out. You don't realise till you actually start painting it, and then you think, oh, hold on, that's quite dark. So paint that. So we've got 2 grey ones and 1 brown one. And again, don't forget to paint the top of it, because that's the bit you're going to see. Irons, that's the word. Thank you. Irons and woods, isn't it? Yeah. Thank goodness you lot are all here to remind me, because I tell you what, I can't remember a thing at the moment. So could be anything. There we go. And then we'll do the other side. So it's flat the other side because the way the mould is, but it's just in case it sort of swings round a little bit. So we'll just go over it. We haven't done the back of the bag, but we are going to do the back of the golf clubs, I think. There we go, like so. I'm sure I said on the video anyway. If I didn't, I just used the sticks that I used there. I did cut them down a little bit because they were just too long for this. So they were originally that length, and I just cut them down a bit to make sure they actually fitted into the bag. Otherwise they were going to be absolutely enormous over the top of this bag. So these should be fine. Right, I'm just going to go back over this again a little bit darker. Just going to do that with it, just so it's not flat. I can't bear it if it's going to be flat. At least if it's got a bit of shadow going on in there, it won't look so bad. See what I mean? What difference it makes just by putting in a bit of extra. Happy days. Right, okay, let's switch over to the lighter grey one. Just to keep everybody laughing at my dust, we'll go with the Wonder Dust. We'll put a little bit in. We won't go mad. We'll put a little bit in, just a little nod to some sparkle maybe. But it is very glittery, and I'm not 100% sure that the golfing, well, the golf clubs are normally this glittery. So I think we'll just, I think if I mix it with that, it's probably going to disappear. Yeah, it is. Oh, you can see it just. Actually, that's not too bad. Actually, I think if you mix it with grey, it tones it down a bit, because I think the original bling might be too much, but mixed with a bit of grey, that makes it look quite realistic, I think, I'd say. How about that? Let's put that in there, that looks good. And down here. Yeah, look at that. So finishing sparkle, which is a not finishing sparkle, what is this? Fine Silver Wonder Dust on its own is very, very glittery. Mix it with a little bit of grey, and actually that's really quite nice, quite subtle for this. So if I hold that there, if I hold the two together, you'll see what I mean. One is a little bit more kind of glittery than the others. My cameras are probably going in and out. All right, let's try that. So I'll just dab a bit on there as well. So maybe that's the answer with this one. We do have this one on the website, the Fine Silver. We've got Wonder Dust, or I've picked out the ones that I use the most, which are Bright Gold, Fine Silver, Regal Purple, and Whisper Pink, I think. And then I have, for the people doing the Jubilee cake, put a group of 7 of them together. So if you've never heard of Wonder Dust before, or you're thinking, oh, what on earth are you talking about, there is a little group of 7 of them together as well, which are really, it's a really nice way to kind of get started on them. And obviously they are edible, and they've got tons of shelf life on them, so you can just sit back and enjoy them. And you know what, there's silver and that for Christmas, so even if you don't use it, you know, you only use it once now, you can always use it at Christmas time, can't you, when you get that far. These dusts, I actually don't know what the sell by date is. I'm looking now. Let's see. Oh my God, it's so tiny. My eyesight is not going to manage that. What is that? 2031. There you go. 2031. Where are we? That's 10 years, isn't it? I'm trying to think. Just done 9 years. I know there'll be people out there like me who've bought paste colours and then you've gone to use them like years later and they're still in date and you can't believe it. They go on and on and on. And when they finally do go out of date, you think, well, I've been doing this too long now. There we go. Let's have a look at these. They're going to sit like that. So that view is key. So make sure you've got that part done properly, because that's the bit you're going to see. Okay. Little bit of sparkle on there, not too bad. Now we've got these hideous white sticks at the moment, so we're going to need to cover those. So that's what we're going to do next. Yeah, I think mixing it with the grey certainly helped without it being too silly. Now, let's make this, sorry, all my paintbrushes have decided to roll towards me. They haven't actually fallen on the floor, they're just rolling at me. Okay, so let's make these a bit darker. Now what we're going to need to do with these, we're going to paint them and we're just going to leave them to dry. So we're not going to touch them after this. So we will do these ones first, where they're going to be a little bit darker. You won't see these, they're going to be in the bag. So you don't even need to paint right to the bottom if you don't want to. And again, it will just dry just the same as it would do if it was on actual chocolate itself. It's cocoa butter. Once you remove the heat from it, it dries. I'm going to flip it over. Go down the back here. So it's really just the top half we're interested in. I probably won't bother to do the bottom. So it's just sort of to that point. Just make sure you've got it down both sides. So it's all in there. And I'm just reading Carol's comment about, my God, I'll be 70 then. It's amazing where time goes. I always think when you hear these long distance projects and you work out how old you are, you go, oh my goodness me, where's time gone, eh? So we'll just do that. There we go, and then we'll turn that over. We'll do the same again here. So this is just black. This is part of the, we sell this individually, but it was also part of the cocoa butter painting kit. So if you're thinking of going for the kit, the black's included in it. The colours you're going to change the most are going to be black and white. You'll go through more of those than anything else. I've done a pretty rubbish paint job on this one here. I'm going to have to improve that in a minute. Right, where are we now? So what we'll do here is we will take this and we're just going to give them all the same handles. We're not going to worry too much about that. And then what we'll do is we'll then set up the top half of this cake. And I was just going to put the bag down the front of the cake, which means the top half I was just going to lay it out a little bit like a putting green maybe. So we'll mark it out somehow. We're going to use our sugar gun to make a bit of grass. And then we'll put, oops. And then we can put a little flag, can't we? We can make a little flagpole out of another lollipop stick. See, amazing what these lollipop sticks will come in useful for. Right. Actually, as I'm putting the paint on, you can see I'm then going over it and kind of dragging it out. It's going a really nice silver colour, and it's dry now, you see. So I can touch it there as well. I'm just going to paint the very back of this. Now it's laying down, I can see all the problems. There we go. All right, that's it. So that's everything painted on that. So we're going to leave those to dry. So these will, oops, I know you picked up the glitter then. I'm going to put a glittery one. But you can play around with these. You're not really not going to see it. I think it's one of these things you can get very carried away doing and then realise you've wasted loads of time, but actually you're not going to see it. So let's just leave it at that. I need to stop and take a deep breath and put this to one side. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit on there as well. Just going to put a tiny bit of grey on the bottom of this, just in case I can see it. Done. Stop it, Tracy. I'm fiddling. Right, okay, so we're going to move this out of the way. I'm going to stand up for a second, so I'm going to reappear, you see, so I'm definitely here. Very happy with these, although I'm now looking at that bit now I'm in a different light. Get my paintbrush out. Might have to go over that bit when it's dry. Okay, let's leave that there. Bring the turntable back.
I am a messy worker, clearly, because it's everywhere. Right, let's get rid of my colours. Those over there. So I'm going to put my turntable back down. We'll get our cake back because I had to move that out of the way while we were doing that. Get rid of my reference sheet because we've now done our cake. So this is the cake we did earlier. We've forgotten all about this, haven't we? It's amazing how time flies and you forget. So next thing we're going to do, I'm going to leave the cocoa butter on for the moment because we might come back to that. I'm just going to wash my hands because they are covered in cocoa butter. Otherwise I'm going to end up with some very interesting colour grass in a second. Right, we're going to use a Sugarcraft gun and we're going to have a look at doing the top. So let's go to this camera here. Right, let's turn that round a tiny little bit there. You can see a lovely air bubble there. Let's get rid of that. That's naughty. We don't want that. It's coming out lovely on that camera there. Got it. Right, let's get some more of this paste back out again. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some Trex to it, which is white fat. We're going to soften it up. Whoops. And then we're going to make a bit of a sort of a putting green, I guess, by putting some slightly longer grass around it. Not hugely longer, because obviously then it would be a field and we wouldn't have that either, would we? So I've got, let's get chocolate off. There's chocolate, glitter and paint all on here at the same time. Let's go over here. Right, let's take hold of some. So Trex is white fat. We're going to just put a little bit in there and we're just going to knead it. Now why we do that is to soften it up so it will go through the Sugarcraft gun. If it doesn't go through the Sugarcraft gun without the Trex in it, it will break. It's as simple as that. So the Sugarcraft gun is a gun that comes, it's an extruder is another word you'll hear for it. And basically it's got about 16 different attachments, and what it does, you can make grass, you can make ropes, you can make all sorts of different things with it. It's a brilliant little tool. I use it loads and loads and loads. I make tons of grass with it all the time, so you'll see me doing this quite a bit. Just going to put a tiny bit more Trex in. There we go. Just need that through. I'm actually going to, I was going to make it a bit darker. No, I'll leave it as it is. I was going to paint some grass. I might paint a bit of grass around the bottom. We'll do that in a second. Right, so let's take a little bit of this. And we'll just roll that like so. Take hold of this. We'll just unscrew the end. So this is the craft gun. Okay, that's what it looks like. So I'm just going to unscrew the end. And then you pull this back and there is a little tube in the middle there. So we're just going to take hold of this. Now we've got these on our website. So if you want one of these, we have got them. I might swap to this grass here. So there's two different grass attachments. You'll see them appear in a second like that. That one's quite a bit bigger than that one. So I'm going to switch it to that one. Pop that one in. I'm just going to roll this thinly so it fits in there. No, we're not quite there yet. Right, we are now. Almost. Come on. There we go. In, done. Right. And then if you press that down, you'll see it appear. There it is. You see? And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'll bring the cake under the camera actually. I'll just come back up here a second and just move this camera up a tiny bit, just so it's not right on top of me. There we go. Where's my scriber? There it is. And then my water. What did I do with that? I need my helpful assistant, Kelly, don't I? So we'll make a little, got my water here. So we'll make a sort of, so my bag's going to sit there. So we'll just kind of, I don't know, we'll do a little, just a little circle like that, something like that. And then we're just going to put a little bit of grass around it. We don't want it to make it too long because obviously that's not right. That's not what we want. So I'm literally just going to squeeze the gun like so. And I'm going to press down. So squeeze. And then you just take it off with a scriber like so.
So I'm not handling it at all. Let's turn it round as I go. So we'll do it quite short. We do have to do it well manicured, you see, because these golf courses are pretty spotless, aren't they? So I better try and do a good job here. Let's tidy my grass up. I'm going mad now. Right, okay, let's get rid of that bit there. So I'm sure it's probably a little bit too long, but hey ho, we'll flatten it down a bit. It's got the idea, haven't we? Don't want him to think he's golfing in a field or something. We'll make a sort of a random putting area. And then actually if we put a bit more grass around in places. Oops, that didn't come off. Just something quite simple. Of course, you can go full on bunkers with this. If you're going to do that, you'd need to use something like, what's light brown sugar is quite good for doing things like that. You wanted to put a bunker on here maybe. Right, I'm just going to clear this off a bit because it's taken me a while. Come around this side, press down. So it's sticking to the water that I put down. You can see it just about. I'm not going to go mad with this. I just want a little bit of an area here. So we'll flatten it down. I don't want it to be too proud. It's not a field, it's a golf course. There we go, nearly there. Okay, we'll come back to the gun in a second because we'll do a bit going around the bottom there. Okay, so that's going to be our sort of top part there. Now what we'll do, we will make a flagpole and we will make a number on it where we'll use wafer paper. So what I've got here, I'm just going to move that out of the way for a second. We've got a lollipop stick and we'll take a bit of wafer paper because this is edible. I'm just going to cut that out. And if we have a look at our flag, how big do we want it to be? Not huge. Let's go back there a bit. Okay, and we'll take it like that, shall we? Let's see what that looks like. Let's have a look on there. Yeah, I see that looks okay, doesn't it? Happy days. I think that looks all right. Right, let's take that out. Let's have a tidy. Now, what we'll do is we'll put a number on there and we'll just write it with a pen. We don't need to do anything too complicated. So we'll use an edible pen. Again, we've got these on the website. They're double-sided, so they've got a thick end and a thin end. Okay, we'll use this end for now. And what should we put on here? We'll put, well, 19 is the bar, isn't it? So I suppose I should be putting that on there, but we'll go 18. We'll keep it proper golf, shall we, at the moment? So I guess if you were doing this for a cake for somebody, you could always put their age on here at this point. So we'll do 18. Like that. And then what I normally do is get hold of I'm going to put my flag in next. So let's go to the other camera. Let's go back to this one. This may go off screen a little bit, so I'm going to pull it forward so you can see. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll pop that in. Let's pop that in about there. So I don't need to push it all the way down. I'll leave it to about there. And then if I take my flag, because it doesn't weigh anything, it's very light, because it's only wafer paper. Actually, I'm going to change this nozzle because I've got a big nozzle in here.
Oh no, they're on the draining board, I think. Did I put them over there? I did. This expert washing up I was doing earlier today. And then I'll take hold of my flag like that, you see, and I will just pipe a line straight down there. Oops, it's come out very quickly. That came out super quick, didn't it? I'm just going to take that off because it's come out too fast. I think there's a bit of water in there. Let's see if we've got less water. That's better. I don't want it to be wet. It's going to slide down the pole otherwise. There you go. Let's try again. All right. Okay, there you go. You see, so that's not too difficult, is it? That's fairly straightforward. We need a golf ball, don't we? That is going to help. Let's make a little golf ball. So again, we'll just do a little bit of white paste. And where are we? There we go. Tiny bit. We don't want to make it too big, do we? So we'll just, that's it. Don't need to make it any more complicated than that. So I'm going to put that blob there. Just a blob of royal icing, just to hold it in place. I'm just going to roll it again because as I've moved it around, it's got squished. I don't want a squished golf ball. There we go. All right, so that's the top half. Don't want to make it too complicated. Let's keep it nice and simple. And then we will have a look at the sides. So there we go. That's going to go out of, not be able to see that now. No, we're not putting a silver ball on top today. Or I could put a silver ball. Oh yes, let's do that. Somebody's just had a great suggestion there. Let's get the silver balls out because honestly, one of my cakes, it's like my signature piece here. Let's put a silver ball on top of this because I think we can do that. If this falls off though, I'm going to blame Pixie for this because it's her suggestion. Let's put that on top there. There we go. Happy with that? We've now got a silver ball on top. Now what you want to do when you're sticking this wafer paper down is just make sure you don't put too much royal icing on, otherwise it does tend to slide. But I think we've got away with that, so that's good. Right, okay, let's go to the sides. I'm going to move that down there like that. I'm going to drop my camera down a little bit. So we're going for a ride, everybody. Bear in mind, oh no, wrong one. Nearly undid the wrong camera then. Hold on. There we go. And stop. Right, so we've got the side bit to do here. So we're going to put our bag here. That's where that's going to sit. So we can do some painting on the sides. We can also use our Sugarcraft gun. We could do a bit of both. So we're going to do that next. So we'll pick here. What have we got here? Moss green. That's a nice colour. So we'll put a little bit of moss green in here. Don't want to make it too complicated tonight. We want to keep it fairly straightforward. Don't want to frighten anybody. You might not come back and watch my demo ever again. I'm not going to watch that woman. She does mad things. Right, okay. Let's clean this up. So if you haven't seen us before, we are a teaching school. I say we because it's me and Kelly. So we're a teaching school. We're also an online shop. So we have lots of online products, but we do a lot of our own stuff. So we don't tend to sell the stuff that you'll find on the other cake shop websites. We tend to do our own thing. So we like to invent things, we like to create things, and then we like to sell you the things to help you to make the things that we've shown you what to make. It's all a big circle really. So that's what we do. So I'm just putting in here moss green. I'm a bit off screen, aren't I? So moss green and white, and then we'll just go around the back here. There we are down the bottom, and we're just going to literally just put a few little bits of grass, and we don't want to make them too tall, but what I wanted to do was just have a bit of background grass for when I put the other stuff in front of it in a minute. So we'll just go around. This will be the rough, isn't it, where the golf balls have gone. There we go. You see, there's a technical golf term for you. This is the bit you don't want your golf ball to fall into. Now we've got this lovely edge because my smedger has created this beautiful edge here, so I've got no problems there with having any gaps.
So if you can get to grips with one of these smedges, you will not regret it. And if you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, once this video is over, go back and have a look and you'll see it. See how I covered it. So this is moss green, which has become one of our favourite green colours. Again, it's a sugar flare colour and it's on our website as well. I don't need any encouragement when it comes to putting silver balls on cakes. I've just read that comment. I'm there. So round we go. See, I'll just show you what's happening there. Hopefully you can see it all okay, just about. I'll just move that back a little bit. So I'm just using paintbrush number 1. Just going up the side of the cake here. Just so it's not completely plain and boring. We want it to be a little bit interesting. And then hopefully if anybody plays golf and they see this bit, they'll know it's the rough bit. They'll know they're not meant to be in that bit. There we go. Right. And we go across there. Oh, bit of a blob one there, but that's okay because I think the bag's going to go in about there, so that's all right. That's allowed. Thought I'd paint this before I put the bag on, it's probably easier. And then, as I say, you could put a little bunker down here if you want to, you know, if you wanted to get the full golf experience. I did actually Google golf cakes. I always like to Google what I'm doing just to kind of see what other people's interpretations is. And I have to say the range of golf cakes was pretty limited to pretty much the same thing. And I'm not saying that there's a lot you can do that's different in golf, but it did seem very samey. So maybe this little golf bag will inspire some different ones. I don't know. Hope so. So yeah, birthday cake, Father's Day maybe. My dad plays golf. Not brilliantly in his own words. Although my mother might be watching, she probably would agree with me. He enjoys it. Gets him out. See, my husband's quite a good golfer, but he doesn't play enough. He needs to play more. Right, there we go, nearly at the back. Then it's amazing how quickly a cake comes together, because like whenever I do these lives you think, oh, when are we going to get to the end of this, and boom, it's finished. And it's often because we're painting things to put on cakes, and I often think it finishes very quickly. I'm going to have to cut that bit of sugar paste off in a minute because it's annoying me. I've got a little bit of sugar paste there. I mean, you can go round and you can do lots and lots of different things with the grass if you particularly want to, but I'm not going to play around with this for too long. Just giving you an idea, really. What I am going to do though, just to make sure the top doesn't feel left out from the bottom. Oh, my mother is on. Hello, mummy. She's on. My mum is on. Right. So I'm just going to go around the top there. Right, you can't see. Let's bring that in. Just going to go around the top with that same colour that I've just put around the bottom, and just, it's not going to match. I want them to match. So I'm just going to inject a little bit of colour in there, the same as what's on the bottom. Right, okay. A little bit more, like so. My mum's Facebook happy now, you see. Right, there you go. You see that then matches that, which looks so much better. But we want to put a bit more grass down the bottom here, but not huge amounts. I'd say patches, but I don't really like that word. Don't know. We'll put a bit of water on anyway. We want to remember that our bag is going to go in round about here. So again, we'll take our craft gum. We've still got some paste in here, so that's okay. And we'll just squeeze a little bit out there. I'm going to paint a little bit more green in there in a second, just to kind of match that a little bit. Then I think another bit there, because that's where our bag's going to go. We're going to get that bag in a second. Just kind of finish laying it out. Okay, there we go. Oh God, don't ask my mum about ice cream vans. He's dairy free, aren't you, Mum? Right, she'll say no. My mum wouldn't do anything like that. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of green in there, just so it's not... Actually, you could always take the green down even there a little bit. Where's my other brush gone? There it is. What's this one? Just fade it out a little bit. What was I doing on this side? Right, okay. Where is my bag? That's over there. Right, we're going to put this together with royal icing. Now, this bag tips backwards a little bit, so we're going to need to help it by just putting a blob of sugar paste underneath. Right, I'm now bringing the bag in again. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Move that out the way and take some priority here. Right, okay. So when I stand this up against this cake, I can feel it tipping backwards slightly. Can you see? So I'm going to put a little bit of paste on the bottom, just a little bit, just to stop it tipping. And I'm just going to literally put, I'm off screen slightly for a second. I'll just turn this round so you can see it. There, can you see? I've just put a little bit of royal icing along there, and I'm just going to take a little bit of green sugar paste, not a lot, and I'm just going to put that along the base there just to stop that tipping. And then I'm going to take my royal icing and I'm just going to go across the bottom here and across the like so, and then I'm just going to tip it over because I need this to have lots and lots of royal icing on the back, so it's actually going to stick. Right, again, I'm just going to move that over a little bit so you can see what's going on. There we go. Oh, mummy. We've all gathered now that Susan Brown is my mother, so you can see her comments coming up. Right, for those of you on YouTube, you probably can't see it. It's all coming through on the Facebook page. Right, so we're going to do this. Zigzag all the way down. So this is royal icing. Royal icing is our concrete, really. I could have used chocolate, but I'm not going to go through the process of tempering chocolate, not now, when I can just use royal icing, which is going to set just as well. It's also trying to escape, which I don't really want. Right, now I just need to be a bit careful here of holding this thing, so I'm just going to take hold of another piece of kitchen roll. So I don't really want to, because I've got to hold it in place, I don't particularly want my hands touching it, so I'm going to pop it on. Just hold it in position for a second, just to make sure. Just hold it still. Now I can see that around the bottom there, that's going to really annoy me, so let's get rid of that, where I put a bit in there just to tip it. So let's have that out. So we'll hook that bit of icing out and we'll put a bit of grass around it. Let's not make things too complicated here. I want to make sure it's straight though, which it's not, but it is now. That's the mechanics of holding it up. Okay, that's fine. I've just come forward a little bit too much. Okay, let's get my gun back out again. Where's it gone? There is my Sugarcraft gun. And then we'll just take a little bit of, see if we just tuck a bit under there, that will just hide anything that's going on that we don't want to see. There we go, that's better. And then I'll go back to my Sugarcraft gun again and grab some more of the green, and we'll just go in there we can actually put it even a little bit darker under there, you know, where there's a shadow. There's no reason why you can't do that, because don't forget that bag is quite big, so it's going to be casting a shadow. So we can put some more dark green under there. Just be careful it doesn't decide to become a line, which is a little bit, but it's not too bad. Let's take that icing off there and just blend it out a bit. So you know what I mean? Where the bag is casting a shadow. Yeah. I've gone a bit too far around, I think it's okay. Right, now let's get these clubs in. I've got to decide on this. Do I let them move around or do I put in a bit of paste? I'm tempted to put a little bit of paste in there. Not a lot, just a little bit of sugar paste in just to steady them up a bit. Right, we're totally off screen now, so let's come back down here so you can see. There we go. Now I've just dropped a little bit of sugar paste in there. I'm also just going to put a little bit of royal icing in there, and I'm just going to let that randomly fall. Like so. You don't need to see it, you just know it's going in there, because don't forget it's quite deep. Okay. And then we'll take these, which is dry, just need to be careful with them. And we're going to take them in and we're going to pop one in. So when it gets to the bottom now, I can just feel some sugar paste catching it. And then we'll put another one in. We'll put that one in there. And then we can put this one in there. You see what I mean about painting the lower half there? There's no point, it's just a waste of time. But I'm just trying to see if we can stop these. I mean, the fun of it could be the fact these still move around, you know, because that's, you'd be like, what is this? Oh, they're lollies. Oh my goodness. So, you know, there's all sorts of ways of looking at this. I know I prefer them to be still, I think, but I think we're just about there. I'm just going to turn that round. So if you're facing the front of that cake, right, I'm just going to turn that slightly. There we go. So that's now our front that way. So we've got the thing there and the bag there. Okay, so you can just about see it. Right, now we're going to put a ribbon on the board. Let's do that next. Where did I put that? I know I bought one out before I went live because I definitely checked without Madam Kelly here tonight. Where's my ribbon? There it is. So I've got a nice green ribbon. I suppose you could use red even just to kind of enhance it, couldn't you, to bring out the... I'm just going to cut this tiny bit of sugar paste off because it's now dried and it's annoying me when I start. I'll cut half the board off now. Don't use a sharp knife. The plastic side scrape is what you need. That's better. Let's go around and make sure there's no other bits. There's one other bit there. Right. We got it all? No. Because I didn't pick it up. I'm being very cautious with this, picking it up, because as I've only just stuck it down. There we go, that's better. Otherwise when I put the glue on, it's just not going to stick. It's going to stick straight to the sugar paste. Okay, right, let's get some ribbon on this board. So we'll start at the back. We'll use our glue stick. Go around the edge. Yeah, loads of ladies play as well. My mother-in-law plays golf. She's very good as well. So, cake for a man or a woman, but as long as they're into golf. That's the only criteria with this one. They need to be into golf. Otherwise, they're going to wonder why. Maybe you could just get one, make one and donate it to a golf club. Maybe you could do that. If you don't know anyone who plays golf, there's always somebody, some willing recipient with cake, I find. Right. Okay. There we go. Right, let's have a look at this in its full glory. So we'll have a little play with the cameras for a second. Let me just come back on screen for a minute while I just sort this out. You get to see all my mess as well, which is nice, isn't it? I will hold it up at the end as well, but there we go. I think that doesn't look too bad. Let me just move my rubbish out of the way. So we can at least try and have a nice view of this, and I need to make sure I blend this out. Otherwise I know what will happen. I will get home
and immediately panic that I've left the candle on. Right, okay, that's an okay view. There we go. All right, so there's a nice simple golf cake for you. How about that? A sports bag. So you've got removable golf clubs, look, very nice, which have actually turned out to be lollies. You've got the very nice golf flag with your golf ball, a little bit of grass just to mark the green out, doesn't need to be too complicated, little bit of grass around the bottom there. Actually, the simpler the better. I don't think you need to make these cakes very complicated. I think they just look really, really nice, really simple. So to paint a feature like this on the cake and spending a bit of time getting this really, really done well is all you need, because your eye is immediately drawn to this. You understand what it is because you know that it's a golf course, because you can see all of this going on top. And this literally took us, what, minutes to put together this little bit here. This is where the work is. So as long as you're happy to spend a bit of time painting this, then the rest of it comes together very, very quickly. And I think you'll agree it's a really, really lovely cake without too much on it. It's nice and simple and classic, I think. So I'm going to pick it up in a second so you can have a little look at it from another perspective, as in me not dropping it. My dad likes this bit, 'cause this is the bit where I normally end up chucking things at cameras. Right, let's pick this up. My golf clubs are moving around, but that's okay. We don't mind that. What we don't want is the golf bag to fall off at this point, because then I would be in tears. There we go. How's that look? That way round. Okay, brilliant. I mean, I'm going to take a photograph of it in a minute anyway, and I will put it up on my Facebook page so you can see it a bit more clearly. But there you go. That's a pretty good view, I think, isn't it, of the bag? That's a very nice bag. Look at that. That didn't take too long, did it? It's coming up for 8:30, so a couple of hours. And I haven't exactly torn through it either, so there you go. Right, so that's our golf cake. I'm going to put that down and put it on there. So if you want to find out more information about cakes or cake lessons, then you need to go to this website. Let me find the button. There it is. TraceyMannCakeschool.co.uk. That's where you'll find all my classes. If you want to buy anything connected with what I've done this evening, you need to go to another website. You need to go to this one, which is traceyscakes.co.uk. And if you go on there, you'll find the golf mould and all the other bits and pieces that Nikki's been putting links up about tonight. My next live is on Saturday at 10 o'clock, and that is on Let's Shop Cake Live. So that's our site on Facebook that we do all our Saturday morning lives. So we'll be live at 10 o'clock. When I say we, that's me and Kelly. Kelly's on holiday at the moment, so it's just me at the moment and my online PA, Nikki, who's done a brilliant job. So that's where you'll find me on Saturday. And then the following Tuesday, where are we then? I think I might be on Make It, Bake It, Decorate It. I need to get a look at my events calendar and find out what's going on. I'm rolling with it at the moment, but there we are. So this video, once finished tonight, you will be able to go back and watch it either here or on YouTube. So if you've had any difficulties watching it on Facebook, you can go back onto YouTube and watch it as well. For everybody that's joined us on Facebook this evening and YouTube, thank you very much. The next demonstration on here on @Tracey Mann Cakes Facebook page will be the first Tuesday of the month. So the next one will be, and where are we now? May, so June, first Tuesday of the month. We will put that information up onto the Facebook page. You'll be able to see it. If you'd like to sign up for a newsletter, then go to traceyscakes.co.uk, go to the contact information page and tick the newsletter box, and you will get all the notifications as to when we're going live. So thank you very much. Thank you, Nikki, for all your help this evening. Hello, Mummy. And I will see you all again soon. If you have any questions, you know where to find me, but thank you very much for watching.